All right, y'all, this one gonna be a little bit longer because you guessed it, I'm about to tell y'all a quick little story. To make this easy, I'm just gonna kind of give you like a jump cut summary of what I'm trying to say. Once upon a time, the end. No, I'm just playing, but for real. I grew up playing classical piano as a kid. As some of you may know, classical music has a ton of norms about what you can and what you can't do. And my pops, a musician as well, was a bit of a jazz, gospel, funk purist. And if you hung around us long enough, when some music came on, you could find that out pretty quickly. Eventually, my perceived limitations of what I could do in classical music drove me to quit. I wanted to create my own music because hip hop was starting to become a bigger part of my life. This is in like 2001. So at that time, I thought I broke out the box. I was like, here we go, I'm about to create my own music. I'm out of this classical world with all these rules and stipulations. I can do what I want to do. But really that fixed mindset that I had ended up picking up from the classical world and from my pop's perspective stuck with me. I limited myself in a lot of ways. I didn't want to figure out new ways on how to become a successful producer. I also didn't allow some of my beats to even see the light of day because I felt like they're not ready yet. And everything I had learned from before said, you need to practice over and over and over again before you get on that stage and perform, before you let other people hear this work. That mindset of perfectionism was just a disguise really for a fear of failure that I had. So I was asking myself questions like, what if people don't understand what I'm trying to do with the music? What if people criticize my lack of experience? What if this doesn't sound the way I think it sounds in my head? What if this doesn't work? And I feel like that's when we can sometimes become too overly sensitive or overly defensive about our work, when really we should keep in mind that something as subjective as music is never really going to be flawless. It's never going to be quote unquote ready, at least not objectively. Instead, I think we should have standards and principles because you can actually measure standards and you can live by principles. So for example, a standard for me may be, is this 808 drowning out the rest of my mix? If it is, I need to fix it. If it's not, let's roll with it. Another example of like a principle that I have is setting deadlines. So did I commit to finishing this by Friday? Okay, I did. Well then, let me do everything I can do to get it done by Friday, and then let's go. Unreachable, impossible standards are just another form of perfectionism. When we set those types of standards, we're really just trying to avoid our fear. We're trying to set the bar so high that there's no way we could even attempt to get over it. At the same time, when our standards are way too low, to me that just shows a lack of commitment or a lack of care. Like maybe you just don't really care that much about how this is gonna turn out. And principles keep us grounded in what really matters, which ultimately is making sure that whatever you create is actually heard by the world. So all in all, don't let being perfect stop you from being great. Don't let being perfect stop you from being great. Have you ever considered yourself a perfectionist? Y'all know the motto, man. There is no box. Peace.
I wanna love you.